Hi, boys, girls, and families. We are going to go ahead and read chapters 15 and 16 of Hero Hurricane Rescue today. The last that we heard out of this, they ended up finding Boy Scouts that were inside of a cave because Hero ran off from them, which isn't typical of Hero to do because Hero is usually a very well-behaved listening dog. But he ended up finding a troop of Boy Scouts, or a pack, I think they're a pack, I guess, of Boy Scouts, and they were inside of a cave. The pack leader was actually injured. His leg is broken, and he told Ben that the cave is filling up with water, which after the boys almost were flooded previously, kind of has him on a higher alert. So now they're not only responsible for themselves, they're going to be responsible for getting these boys home safely because their parents don't know that they're safe or that they're okay either. So we're going to jump right in and start on chapter 15. A skinny, dark-haired boy ran to Marco and gave him a hug. "Dad," the boy said. His eyes were puffy from crying. "I'm not leaving you here." "It's okay, Corey," Marco said. "You just need to get out of here, and then you can send someone back for me." "No, Dad." Marco struggled to lift his arm and put it around Corey's shoulder. With a grimace, he pulled his son close. "I'm okay, buddy. I just need to know that you're going to get home safe." Corey burst into tears and buried his head in his dad's shirt. Marco stroked his son's head. "Ben," Marco called out, his voice hoarse. "Do you have a cell phone?" Ben nodded. "But there's no service. We were on our way to higher ground." "When you get a signal, call for help. Once the boys are safe, and only after they're safe, send someone after me," Marco said. Ben shook his head. "We can't just leave you here." "Please, Ben," Marco cut him off. "Take care of Corey and the others, please." Ben studied the man's face. He recognized something in his expression, a look he'd seen on his own dad's face many times. It was conviction. Marco believed this was the best solution for his own son and for all the other boys too. "I will," Ben said, "and we'll be back for you." "Take this map," Marco said, handing Ben a neatly folded rectangle of paper. "I marked where we are now. And take this too." He handed Ben a walkie-talkie. "I'll keep the other. They've got a long range, so when the signal's back, we should be able to talk. Let me know that you're safe and that help is on the way and that Corey's okay." Marco's voice cracked a little. Ben slipped the walkie-talkie into his pocket. He clutched the map in his palm. Marco closed his eyes and rested his head against the wall again. Ben turned to the boys and clapped his hands together, ready to rally some energy. "Raise your hand," he said, his voice light and encouraging, "if you're ready to get a little wet." "We can't leave our leader," the boys cried. Corey's eyes filled with tears. "We're not leaving him for long," Jack said, resting his head next to the boys. "We're going to let him relax for a few minutes while we go get help." "Yeah," Noah chimed in. "Actually, he really needs us to hurry so we can call someone to come and get him. The faster we go, the faster he'll get some help, okay?" The Boy Scouts nodded. "It's okay, guys," Marco said, mustering as much strength as he could. His voice as cheerful as he could make it sound. "Go on ahead. Just make sure whoever you send brings me a nice hot cheeseburger, okay?" The Boy Scouts scrambled to their feet, still uncertain, but doing what they were told. Hero and Scout stood up too. "Besides," Ben said, "you're not just going to help. You're hiking through the woods with Gulfport's famous search and rescue dogs." The kids broke out into weak smiles. "Come, Hero," Ben said, and Hero walked to him. "Sit," Hero sat. The boys were frozen, their eyes locked on Hero. Ben paused for effect. "Hero, go." Hero bolted across the cave. He looked so official, almost regal in his yellow vest. The boys were mesmerized. "Hero, stop." Hero stopped almost instantaneously. The kids opened their mouths in awe. Hero had been working on a new trick with Hero, just for fun. He hadn't shown it to anyone yet, but this was as good as any. "Hero, dance." Hero trotted towards Ben, bobbing his head up and down and doing a funny little skittering step. The kids and Noah and Jack burst out laughing. "Good boy, Hero." Ben dropped to his knees and hugged his dog. "What do you think, guys? You ready to follow Hero and go home?" "Yes," the boys cheered. They pulled their packs onto their tiny shoulders and formed a line ready to go. Corey knelt down to give his dad a hug, and then his eyes danced. He joined the others. "Hero, let's go," Ben called out. Hero sauntered to the mouth of the cave and stopped. He stood with his head held high, his jet black fur glistening, all of his muscles flexed, and his tail pointed up, ready for his next command. Ben looked back at Marco, who gave him a thumbs up. Ben gave him a salute and said, "We'll be back soon." Chapter 16. They marched in a single file line as the hurricane wound down around them. The weather was calmer, although the wind still shook the trees high above the boys. The rain came steadily down on them. Ben kept checking his phone, waiting for a signal. The clock said it was close to 4 in the morning. Hero led the way, with Ben right behind him. Before they left the cave, Noah had clipped Hero and Scout's leashes together to create a long tether. Each of the boys gripped the nylon rope with one mud-caked hand as they marched. This kept them all in a row and prevented anyone from wandering off the path. Noah positioned himself in the middle of the pack with three Boy Scouts in front of him and 4 behind him. Jack and Scout brought up the rear. Every time one of the kids started to lag, Scout ran up and nudged him with his nose, urging him along. They followed Marco's map. The path angled uphill again. Ben leaned forward, pushing himself as the road got harder and his legs got more tired. He looked over his shoulder. The Boy Scouts pursed their lips and furrowed their brows, concentrating hard on getting up the hill. They looked so young and scared, but none of them complained. They just wanted to get home. Corey was right behind Ben. He was trying really hard not to cry, and mostly he was succeeding. Ben couldn't imagine leaving his own dad behind, hurt and trapped like that. A pang of fear shot through Ben's chest as he thought about Dad. Did he even know Ben was missing, and was he worried about him? Either way, Ben hoped he'd find out the answer soon. Off in the distance, Ben heard the sound of a creek running. It was heavy and fast-moving, probably overflowing with rainwater. He shined his flashlight on the map. Eventually, they were going to have to cross that creek in order to get to higher ground and closer to Gulfport. Corey sniffled and choked back a sob. Ben stopped walking and let Corey catch it up. He put his hands on the boy's shoulder and squeezed. It's going to be okay, Ben said, hoping he was right. Just picture your dad doing something really, really fun that you love to do together, and only think of that. Okay, Corey muttered. Hero dashed around their legs, and Corey smiled a little through his tears. Ben had an idea. Hey, he called out to the others. You guys want to hear about one of Hero's big rescues when he was a police dog? No one answered at first. Then a soft voice from the middle of the pack said, yes, please. There were so many great Hero rescue stories. Ben racked his brain for just the right one. He could tell them about the one how he'd gotten lost in the woods when he was just a little boy, younger than these Boy Scouts were. Ben had been terrified and convinced he'd never see his parents again, but Hero had come racing out of the darkness and found him crying alone under a tree. That was Ben's personal favorite, of course. Or he could tell them about how Hero had tracked the bank robber by sniffing a single piece of paper that the crook had touched. He followed the man's scent from the bank down the street, through an office building, and into the basement where he was hiding. But nope, Ben knew which story he would tell the Boy Scouts. Have you guys ever heard about the front porch robber? Ben asked. My mom told me about him, said Jonah from the middle of the pack. She said he was weird. Ben laughed. Yeah, he was weird, because he really liked taking weird stuff. A few years ago, people started to notice that their things were disappearing from their front porches at night. Like what? Asked Jonah. Like he stole a rocking chair once, and another time he just took a potted plant. What? No way. Who would take a plant? The boys were giggling now. Who knows why, but this guy took a plant, Ben went on, and a tricycle, and even, are you ready for this? Yes, the boys cackled. A chicken, Ben shouted. The boys were laughing so hard that they had to stop walking for a second. Anyway, Ben said, tugging on the tether to get them moving again, no one could catch the front porch robber. Not the cops, not the neighbors, no one until the boys went totally silent. Ben let them wait until they couldn't take it a second longer. Until what? They yelled. What do you think? Ben asked. He waved a hand in Hero's direction. Hero caught him, the boys cried. That's right. Hero caught him. One night in the middle of the night, a woman saw the robber running away from her house. Ben lowered his voice and spoke slowly, dramatically, drawing out the story. And she called the police right away. So they knew that the guy had just been there. My dad and Hero got to her house a few minutes later until they found a glove the thief dropped when he ran away. He never left anything behind before, so this was a big deal. Then what happened? One boy, Emmett, asked. But the robber was gone already, another boy, Isaiah said. How could Hero find him? Could he see him? Nope, Ben said, but he could smell him, just like he can smell you right now. Did you know that everyone has their own smell? It comes from little pieces of your skin that fly off of you. Gross, the boys giggled. It sounds gross, but it's really cool actually, Ben said. You and I can't smell each other so much, but Hero knows the difference between each and every one of us because his sense of smell is 1,000 times better than ours. Crazy, right? So he could smell the bad guy or what? Emmett said impatiently. You got it. Hero knew the thief's smell from the glove. Then he sniffed the ground and the air and the grass and the dirt, and he found the guy's smell on all of those things too. And he followed it really far. And do you know where they found the front porch robber? Where? The boys cried out all at the same time. In a trash can. For real? Emmett asked, suspicious. For real, Ben said. He was hiding in someone's trash can outside their house. He'd put the lid on it to cover his head and everything, but Hero smelled him, signaled to my dad where he was, and they caught him. Wow, cool. Didn't the trash smell really bad? Yeah, Ben laughed. I'm guessing it smelled really bad. But that didn't stop you, right, Hero? Hero wagged his tail almost as if he knew the story was about him. And that is it for chapters 15 and 16. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Bye.